Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Lift with Sheila Robinson-Kiss. Your auntie Sheila is in the house. Listen, as always, I have definitely got your back. These videos, one of the greatest parts of my life. And listen, if you're new to the community, if you end up loving the video, don't forget to hit like, subscribe, comment, leave me some comments about this topic. I want to talk about ghosting. Okay, this phenomena of ghosting. Normally I have some notes prepared and all this stuff. I'm talking to you today straight from the heart. I got a letter from Jason, an email, and it tugged on my heartstrings. And folks, let's have a conversation about ghosting. Again, I want to hear from you. Have you been ghosted? How did it make you feel? What did you do to cope? Jason has been seeing someone for about 4 months. Now, maybe it's not 4 years, but I think that's enough time where just basic decency, you wouldn't just cut someone off. And this is what happened to him. Jason, my heart goes out to you. It has happened to me and it has happened more than once. This channel is about, full and total disclosure. I'm just going to lay everything out for you all today. Yes, I have been ghosted, and once upon a I was immature, not the person that I am today. I have ghosted a few people myself. Listen, when we know better, we do better. I can promise you, in my right hand to God, I repented for that. One of the individuals, I circled back, and it was like a huge gap of time. They barely could remember who I was, but again, you get some life experience, you know better, do better. Let me circle back and make my apologies. So I'm coming to you and I'm talking to you from both ends as a person who's just dealt with that. Sometimes it's painful, shameful, humiliation, confusion, just a series of mixed emotions. So Jason and anyone else who needs to hear this message, the first thing that I want to say to you, because in your letter you asked me, why? Why me? I'm struggling with what did I do? What did I do? And that's the question that would be on most anyone's mind. I could say this to you. You can spend from now, this could eat you for a month, for a year, or you can stay focused on what you do know. I cannot get inside this person's head, but I'm going to highlight a couple of things you do know. You do know that the person that you're dealing with, there is a level of emotional maturity, immaturity. And that's, if you think about it, anyone who's seated in emotional maturity and compassion would be able to deduce, put together, wow, I did 4 months has been spent going on dates, talking, chatting, checking in. At a minimum, I could send a text message or a call, something to give them a heads up. Doesn't mean anyone's going to hog tie you, can't make you stay, but something to give the individual a heads up on a signal, a smoke sign, anything that, I've shifted, I've changed my mind. And when someone gives you that courtesy and respect, people have a right to exit, but to just leave someone raw and confused is wrong. So, Jason, let's stay in what we know. We know that this person is emotionally immature. Second point, what can we know factually? Let's say that we can understand that this individual is in a state of mind, and whatever that is it callous? Is it, they're going through something personally? We can, with great confidence, state they are in a state of mind that did not afford them the presence of mind to consider your thoughts, to consider your feelings. And when you stay right there on that second note, you can just sit back And that will tell you a lot if you fan out from there. This is not necessarily an individual. If this happened, it was going to happen eventually. This is if not a coping skill, you can certainly say this is a modus operandi. This is how this person operates. You're not guessing because you're on the receiving end of it. And again, I know it's tempting to keep looking at yourself and looking at yourself. I'm going to give you another perspective because life is all about perspective taking, and that's a skill set. I want you to keep in mind that a different kind of person would have handled it differently. And I want you to open up some territory in your mind and in your heart just to entertain the perspective that perhaps it has nothing to do with you. It has something to do with who they are, how they see the world, and how they're operating. And again, we're going back to just a base lack of emotional maturity. My work is, for almost 30 years, people reach out to me. I've been a therapist for a long time, coming from sometimes broken places. And this ghosting, I wanted to jump on this video message because I'm not exactly sure why, but it's becoming more and more prevalent. I don't know if it's the rise of social media that has people, I can just, walk away, delete you. I'm not accountable. I don't know exactly why this ghosting is on the rise, but I can tell you anyone who's thinking about doing it, or if you've done that, please understand that, emotional toughness and sensitivity and how someone will react to that, it varies across the board. I've worked with people, they can give a rat's behind, whatever, you don't want to call me back, that's your problem. You're silly. I'm the cat's meow. And I've sat with other people who it almost eats them alive. It cuts to the quick of their self-esteem, their self-worth, you name it. Those are the more sensitive souls among us. And I would say that although a person's sensitivity, that's really not your issue, but we're talking about the base level of humanity, the humane aspect of this, the simple gesture of, and I'll even go far further in this video and provide you with some language. Again, I was stupid and immature at one point. I was doing that stuff to people. Again, you learn better, you do better. When I came into the know, I got burned. I was more, less focused on myself, more focused on the impact I'm making in the world. The language I would use is, hey, listen, you deserve someone who is going to be just as excited about you, vice versa. You deserve that energy. You do. I am not that person. I'm not going to sit here and jack around with your time. If there's something going on in your life right now, my cup is running over. I can't, and I choose not to put any more energy into this relationship or getting to know you. That may sting to hear, but at least they have that base level of respect, and it's not going to leave them wondering. There's any variety of different scripts that you can come up with. If you don't know, chat GPT, okay? Check in with chat GPT. If you don't necessarily have the confidence or courage to have a face-to-face, at a minute, do something. Send an email, send a text message. I can tell you, having had people in my office crying, boo-hooing on the couch, and they're just torn up. I know they're doing fine. I see them on their social media. My friends see them out and about. They just ghosted me, won't return the text, won't take any calls. It is inhumane. It is inhumane, and it is unnecessary. It truly is. So I'm saying to anyone who you just feel like it's easier, I don't want to deal with it, that's not the way to go. That is not the way to go. You're creating a karmic swirl for yourself. Would you want to be treated that way? No, and I'm pretty darn sure the answer is no. I've seen it all. I've seen people. It's, when I talk to audiences about mental health and resilience, that's the other part of what I do in addition to my practice. I talk about this ripple effect. I worked with a woman at one point in time for 2 years. We just worked on her making eye contact. She was told by one of her parents that she was ugly. She never got over that. She took that into her spirit, she took that into her soul. It was a ripple effect. It impacted her for many, many years in her life. Now it's fantastic. You come into therapy, you work on some things, you get better. But I would not be able to sit here long enough and tell you what that kind of insensitivity did to her life. So the same is true. There is an impact on a human being when you've had a rapport. Maybe it's a simple rapport, it's a friendship, it's a relationship, maybe it's a family member. Common sense is going to tell you anyone who is in your energy field, they're getting to know you, there's feelings, there's emotion, that is going to impact an individual to the extent, I don't know, everyone is different. But I can tell you, in the words of Maya Angelou, me, I can remember things that happened to me in my childhood. I can remember, these individuals who've ghosted me over the years, over time. If I let myself think about it, it could be just as fresh as it just happened. People will forget what you did. They will forget what you said. They will never forget how you made them feel. Okay, now I know we're in this, uh, modern, this trendy society, and people are hither and yon. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Some things, the old-fashioned rules apply. We are we are accountable for how we treat one another. I'm well aware, you watch the news, there's all this casual cruelty and insults. You get yours, I got mine, F you, all this stuff. That behavior has an impact on our psyche and on our energy. So certainly the people that we walk with and share pieces of our lives, I would just certainly, what I'm saying here is to caution everyone on how you're operating out here. The modus operandi, like I said before, how the mode of operation. Jason, I want to come back to you, and come back to the folks who are sitting with that energy of being ghosted. I just want to provide some healing solutions here. Number one, I'm always going to tell you, because this is, I talk about the clinical, the practical. I always weave in the spiritual perspective. I'm a huge advocate of prayer. You do not need to take this walk and go through anything alone. Prayer is extremely powerful, and just go to who you recognize and know as God, and just pouring your heart out. I am a huge advocate and fan of intentional breathing. Just take, 10 to 20 minutes every day. And intentional breathing is, you attach an intention to the inhale. Jason, you could say something like, you know what, I'm going to inhale the healing and the warmth, and I'm going to inhale the knowing that I did the best I could. My heart was pure within that connection. I'm going to inhale that knowledge and peace. Take it in, intentionally and deeply with the inhale, and then I'm going to exhale the doubt, the rumination, the fear. I'm going to let that go, and try to really, when you're exhaling, do that on like a 5 to 7 second count. And so you really get into this rhythmic breathing, the power of life and thought and energy. It's all found in our breath. So that intentional breathing can be extraordinarily healing for you. I'm also going to say something that is counterintuitive. You may push back on it, but it is a pathway to deeper healing. Whoever this individual is, it's not just Jason. A lot of people need to hear this message today. Very important to it as deeply and as much as you can to forgive them. Well, Sheila, how do you define forgiveness? For me, forgiveness is just releasing them from the prison of your heart, to just simply say, I don't know what the circumstance is, but I don't want to hold you in the prison of my heart. Holding prisoners is very expensive. Actually, if you want to know the stat, it's $140,000 a year to clothe and house a prisoner. So that lets you know, if you're holding someone in your heart, you have to use energy to keep them there. And I like to just do a visual, literally, of the gates of my heart just opening up. Please walk out. God be with you. God bless you. And as part of that visualization, I'm also trusting as much as I can that, the person who's in that state of mind, they weren't meant to chat with, or they weren't meant to walk with me in life or share life with. So understanding and leaning into this infinite design, even if we don't fully know all of it, very important. Get your fresh air, eat well, be very good to yourself. I'm a huge fan of the written words, writing it down, journal. You don't keep a journal, write yourself the longest letter ever. Get it all out. You can burn that letter. You can also record that letter on your smartphone and then go into the EFT, the emotional freedom technique, the tapping. I have a video on here. It's the emotional freedom technique tutorial. You can look it up on the channel. So, your job is to be good to yourself, to clear that energy. A lot you can do to clear the field, put it in the atmosphere. I'm healing. I am healing. Let the ghost, I was ghosted, let the ghost go and haunt someone else. Like Grandpa Hood said, let the doorknob hit you where the good Lord split you. Let the ghost float about. You're not going to haunt me in my life. Bye-bye. Okay, we can add some humor into this too. But I'm going to tell you right now, let's do better out here. Let's do better out here. If you've been ghosted, commit. I'm not going to do that to anyone. I'm going to find my words and a collective healing. Listen, give me a comment, drop me a comment, give me a thumbs up. What do you think about ghosting? How has it impacted you, and what advice do you have for Jason? Thanks so much. I'll be back soon.